Get the music going. Get the music going.
So remember,
The following program does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts Fred and Janet Cox right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com.
Cues, right?
I like that.
People are wondering what the heck's going on, right?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your hosts of the Liquid Green Health Show, Fred and Janet Cox.
Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs, birds and reptiles. We are here this afternoon. We're having a wonderful time. It's 5:30 Sunday. It's a sunny afternoon here in Toronto. Hot and sunny. August the 7th. And my name is Fred Cox, and my host is Janet Cox. We want to welcome all our listeners to Toronto, across Canada, the United States, and around the world. Welcome, and to all the time zones, wherever you are, this is our show today. Today's broadcast, like all our broadcasts, is for education and entertainment purposes only. And it's designed to stimulate the mind and help to bring us one step closer to living a healthier lifestyle. Today's show is sponsored by Liquid Green Products, producers of eco-superior green cleaning products for your home, your office, your cars, and of course, your pets. We're streaming live today on Reality Radio 101. We're having some technical difficulties with YouTube, but it will be on immediately after this show. So if you do go to YouTube and you're looking, you're watching the show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It's going to be on right after the show.
Not just like, share, subscribe, but listen. That's the important thing. That's the important thing. Listen, and then like.
Right. But today we are on Facebook Live, Liquid Green Products Inc. So you can watch us live on Facebook. Let us know where you are listening from. You can send that information to liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. And also, if you have pets and you like to tell us about your favorite pets, please, today is the day to do that. Today we're discussing pets and their humans, right? Yeah. Whether you have a cat, a dog, a fish, or whatever, we have a fish, right? And that fish,
samurai.
It is a samurai fish because some days it doesn't eat. So it's it's one of those things that it's a pet that was bought for our grandkids, and so whenever they come over, it's there, but
they never look at it.
They never look at it.
Because they have their own.
So we have to remember to take care of it. It's a good thing it's not a dog or a cat. So yes, we are discussing pets today and the joy and comfort they bring into our lives. Research has shown us that pets of all kinds can and do provide valuable companionship to humans. They can enrich a person's life by reducing stress, anxiety, and things like depression. And they can also encourage exercise and playfulness, and even improve, your cardiovascular health. That has been researched and it has been proven to work. So with that said, let us get right into it.
Right? Frederick, just before we introduce Kalo, Mike, do we have Kalo on?
I'm right here.
Yes, you are. Do you have your video, Kalo? We'd love to see you.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Yeah, but so what I was going to say, Frederick, is that, in today's world right now, the pandemic
There he is.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
so
we got you.
Great.
Yeah.
The pandemic is not over. It continues. People are stressed about the economy.
Yeah.
Businesses are being forced to downsize. Look at us. We used to get products from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Our supplier used to bring products from the Caribbean.
Yes.
And now there's no space on the airlines. Like Air Canada, for example, has reduced the amount of flights coming in from Jamaica, say.
Okay.
And the people on cargo, I had no mangoes this summer because we always get them from Jamaica, and now we can't, right?
Yeah,
so there is talk about China. There is the, Pelosi visiting Taiwan. There just seems to be so much that people have to worry about and are concerned about and are stressed out about, right? And so in our lives, we have these wonderful creatures who don't give a darn about any of that.
Damn what you look like.
Their only concern is, as in Toy Story, how do they love their humans?
Yes.
And so I'm going to let you introduce Kalo, who is an expert. I'm going to say he's an expert.
Okay, so with
our
that
furry
said,
friends,
okay,
right?
With that said,
scale.
our guest today, as I said earlier, is Kalo Gallagher, owner of the Menagerie Pet Shop in Toronto. And the Menagerie Pet Shop, for those of you who don't know or have never heard about it, it is an independent mainstay shop for fish, reptiles, birds, natural dog and cat food, toys, clothing.
Yeah.
I think they may even have jewelry.
We have pins. We got pins. Yeah.
Right. So this is the Anything Pet Store, right?
Yeah.
And it's located in the heart of Cabbagetown on 549 Parliament Street.
And for people who are outside of Toronto, Cabbagetown is an area, I would say, is it one of the better areas or the most with pets in terms of concentration of pets?
I think they have more pets in Cabbagetown than anywhere else in Toronto.
Is that so?
Is that
yes,
so?
we got a very dense population and a very high number of pet owners of all sorts. But yeah, it is a very dog-friendly neighborhood. There are thousands of dogs in Cabbagetown, as well as other pet owners. Yeah, it's a very diverse and very well-populated area.
But there's one thing I want to mention before we get into our conversation. Whenever I am down by the pet menagerie and you see owners passing with their pets,
I was going to talk about that.
Yes. Right? For some reason, they can't pass without the dog tugging them in.
It is incredible to see that. Yes,
yeah.
The worst is when we're closed and it's half hour before we open and some dog doesn't understand why they can't go in the pet store and they're pulling the owner to the door and the owner's pleading with them saying they're closed, we'll have to come back later, and the dog's like, but I want to go see people, I want to go, get some treats.
It's amazing. And I think the next time I'm going to walk with my camera, right,
Yeah.
to prove that what I'm saying is true. No pet can pass that shop without making an effort to go up the stair.
Kayla, how do you do that? What causes that?
You know what? It's just we're lucky to be a part of people's routines. So a big part of somebody's dog walk might just be, even if they're not buying anything, pop in the store, say hi. Yeah. Dog gets all the pets. It's a place where a dog can come and be a celebrity for 5 minutes because they walk in the door, they get all the attention, right? They get some samples or whatever. And it's just that's a big part in a dog's day, right? It's like walking into into your clubhouse or a restaurant or whatever, and everyone knows you. It's like, hey, look who's here, right? So,
5 minutes
so
of
it's like
the
dog gets to strut their stuff and feel popular, right?
How did
we're fortunate.
Yeah, Kayla, how you've been in the pet industry for a while? How did you get why pets?
Honestly, it was just I had a dog. And that's how I found out about the pet store. It was a part-time job to supplement my income, and I kind of really, through the needs of the business itself, but also through my own interest, I kind of really got into the whole dog and cat nutrition side of things. And I learned a lot of, I was interested because I had a dog and I wanted him to be healthy. But the more I learned about the food side of things and the natural and the holistic raising of an animal, the more interested I became. And I became very passionate about it.
And now you're the owner.
Yes.
That's great. You know, we have such, not the West, North America and rest Europe, etc.
Yep.
We have such an obsession with pets. Now,
We do.
if you're from the Caribbean, if you're from Jamaica, for example,
Yeah.
you love your dogs.
Or Guyana.
Or I said Caribbean and South America. Okay, Guyana, South America. You love your dogs, you love your pets, but not to the extent. I don't think any dog in Jamaica, except for my aunt, will allow the dog to sleep in their beds.
Right,
To
right.
hug them and kiss them, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's changing slowly because of millennials, right?
Yeah.
But what is it, do you think? Before you answer, I have some statistics.
Okay.
It says 68% of the US households have pets, right? And
yeah, that's wild.
78%, 73% probably of Canadians do.
Wow.
And it's on the rise. And it says dogs, we have in Canada about 5.9 million dogs
Wow.
that are owned.
And they're still adopting more from
Yes.
around the
Yep.
world. They're bringing
Yep.
it in.
So why the obsession, do you
Yeah.
think, in North America, in the West? I don't know if you
I
have
mean,
the answer.
I think there can be lots of reasons. I mean,
Mhm.
number one, the attraction is that they're cute. So to someone who hasn't owned a pet before, the cuteness or the companionship might be the draw. But then once you've had a pet, it seems very hard to imagine your life without one, right? Because they don't live as long as we do. So it's one thing to be a first-time pet owner.
Mhm.
It's something else once you've had a pet and you understand that probably for the rest of your life you're going to have a cat or you're going to have a dog or you're going to have an animal in your house because you've realized the value in it, and you really can't see your life being without an animal. And the thing with animals is because the relationship you have with your animal is not the same as you might have with your loved ones, your partner, or your family, or your coworkers, where there can be a lot of different complications and stresses and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you go home to your cat and your cat wants to cuddle, you don't have to, aside from you provide them with a home to live in and nutrition and affection, and you get all of that right back. You get that back. You know what I mean? Whereas human relationships are far more complicated.
That's right.
And I think it's a way for people to take a break from some of those more complicated reality issues and have a safe place where you can hug your dog or feed your fish or whatever it is that gives you a little bit of a break from the more serious parts of your life.
One comes with conditions and one comes unconditional.
Yes.
Loyal to the core, loyal to the T, right?
Yeah.
What's more loyal
Or
than a dog?
just there when you want them. And when you like, no matter where you are or where you go or what you do on any given day, when you walk through the door and you come home to your animals and they're happy to see you, it's so unconditional,
Right.
and that's not to say that you don't have issues with pets as well, because there's problem dogs and problem parrots and problem cats, and but it's just it always seems a little bit easier to deal with than some of the stuff that we have to deal with as humans, because we've made our lives very complicated.
Yeah.
Whereas the pets, they're very, very simple. Feed me, love me, give me a home, and I will be yours.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if you hit me, whatever, they don't care. They're still there. Now, it's amazing. The way they say millennials are the ones that are driving the increase in dogs and cats, in pets, right?
Yep.
And I know as a Caribbean family, as I said, my brother has two beautiful dogs, beautiful, but they have their place outside. Of course, we don't have winter, so we don't have to concern ourselves with some of those things.
Yep.
But my nieces here, my twin nieces, or the whole family, the only dog in our family right now is Theo.
Yeah.
And Theo, I think he's crazy. And if I say this on air, they're gonna not talk to me. But he barks. But they love him to beans.
Yeah.
And this is a family that would not have had, you know, that experience until much later when they're older that they got this dog. And it's amazing how I can understand why families feel they're
connection,
a part of the family, right?
It's amazing how they react whenever Theo is around, or how Theo reacts when other people come into the world.
Right. But science tells us that there is a reason why we're so connected with our animals. Kayla, what do you think? What's the most popular? Is it cats or dogs? Take a guess.
You know what? That's a hard one to gauge because most cats are indoor cats, right? There's a higher visibility of dogs, but there's probably a lot of people out there who have multiple cat households where you would never know because
they're indoors.
You don't have to walk them.
But dogs are certainly the most popular pet right now. But there's still a high number of cats here in the city.
Well, actually, I checked, and guess what? In Canada, cats are 38% of households. And dogs are right behind with 35%.
Oh,
so you're right. Yeah. So you're
wow.
but it's like you said, because of the visibility, we don't see them. Nobody's walking their cats.
Right.
Some people who have a lot of cats don't want everyone to know how many cats they have.
And what's the best story you have? Do you have any personal stories about the people that come into your store and what they share about their pets?
I mean, there's been lots of stories over the years. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stories are probably not safe to tell here, actually, because it's usually the craziest stories are when things get out of hand and
this is internet radio. We can talk about anything. Kid friendly.
But I'll tell a quick story of one of my own. So I won't tell somebody else's story, but I'll tell one of my own. There was a time we had a rescue dog that we adopted, and he was breeding stock from a breeder that said they were breeding French bulldogs, but he definitely wasn't a French bulldog. He was a mix of probably French bulldog, Boston Terrier, possibly even pug. And used to go to Cherry Beach with him dogs quite a bit. And we went there one time, and this is almost probably 15 years ago. And we took him to Cherry Beach, and I believe it was spring because it wasn't hot out. So the water was cold. We were fully dressed, but the dogs would go in the water and play fetch with the ball.
Right.
And we had a ball that was slightly too big his name was Spud. We had a ball that was slightly too big for him to grab it in his mouth properly.
Okay.
But our golden retrievers had no problem. So I threw the ball out, and Spud swam after it. He would try to grab the ball, and he would end up knocking it further into the water.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And and I thought any moment now he's going to get it. He's going to turn around. He's going to swim back. But he just kept hitting the ball and swimming further, and hitting the ball and swimming further. And I like, oh no. So I started taking my clothes off, and I was like, I know how this ends. I'm going to have to. And he started getting very far, and my wife at the time was getting very worried, and so I stripped down to my underwear. I got in the cold lake and I was swimming, and I didn't think I was going to be able to catch him. Luckily, there were like dragon boat boaters practicing, but they were going back and forth in those long boats, and they saw what was happening, and they basically cut him off.
Oh, so good.
So he was forced to turn around, and I got out, and once I swam out there, I I was like, I was out of breath. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm back now. Spud was fine. Swam all the way back. Didn't realize there was any commotion. But I finally swam back, you know, to applause from all the other dog owners that were watching. Come on.
Kalo, that's a great story. I'm glad you shared that
something else.
story
But-
because we've seen the movies, right, Frederick,
Mhm.
where you know the owner goes back into the burning house to get the
Yeah.
dog,
Yeah.
or you know the kid dives in like you did
Yeah.
to save the dog, and we're going, why? Like, why would I do that? That is the love that goes both ways.
Well, how many times have you seen a dog jump in the water to help the owner? Right. So it goes,
Exactly.
It goes both ways.
Well,
Goes both ways,
Yeah.
probably more times, like Lassie. Remember
Yeah.
Lassie, our old yeller.
Now, just before you
but
go to your next point, let me just
Mhm.
remind our listeners, if
Mhm.
you're joining us for the very first time, you're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show. Our guest today is Kalo Gallagher from Menagerie Pet Shop in Toronto. And you can catch us live on Facebook. We're streaming on Facebook at Liquid Green
Mhm.
Products, Inc. The show will also be broadcast on YouTube right immediately after this broadcast.
okay, and you know, Kayla, as I said with that story that you just shared, the science. There's a lot of science behind. I mean, this is a health show and we want to talk about
Yep.
some of that, you know.
Yep.
Now, what they say is that with so many things, we have, Kayla, I don't know what's happening, but your hands are like
Sorry.
giant in front of the screen.
Sorry.
Okay, this
It's
is
my
what-
first time using the phone for Zoom. So I'm just trying to, I thought I
Okay,
might put it
great.
down a little.
Yeah, look like you have giant fingers, right? So anyway, like so many of the shows we've had in the past,
Mhm.
right, Frederick, music, laughter,
Art.
the art, we haven't
Yes.
done art yet, but these are the things that they decrease cortisol levels, and that seems
Right.
to be the hormone that, you know, it
Yep.
creates the
Stress hormone, right?
fight.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they say is that owning a pet, this has been proven by science, actually lowers blood pressure. It lowers cholesterol with some owners anyway, right? And our triglyceride levels. Of course,
Loneliness.
loneliness,
Yes, it reduces.
right? I
helps to
would think
reduce
that's one of the
loneliness.
main reasons people get pets, right? Loneliness.
Yep.
And the mood, you talked about this in the beginning, how it boosts their mood. And they have done tests with kids
Mhm.
with autism and ADHD, the attention deficit disorder, right? And they said it even having a pet even aids with symptoms of PTSD,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And another thing, I'm not sure how
Mhm.
factual this is,
Mhm.
but I was made to understand that
Mhm.
pets, especially a dog,
Mhm.
has the ability to sniff out any kinds of illness that you may have, for example, like
Mhm.
cancer and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna come to that. As a matter of fact, let's do that right now. Have you heard of some of that research, Kalo?
I've only seen some anecdotal scenarios, like
Right.
or read them where like a story where a dog would keep bumping his nose into their owner's stomach for what was apparently no reason until they went to the doctor and they found they actually had like a cancerous
ulcer.
tumor, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So I mean,
So
they have senses we don't have,
Mhm.
right? Some of their senses are heightened, but I think they also have a sixth sense. A friend of mine once told me that your dog knows what you're feeling before you do. Because the way we, when we process our emotions and things like that, we don't always know what we're feeling
Mhm.
right away as we process, but our
Yeah.
dogs
Can
have the
sense that.
answer sometimes before we even figure it out.
Right.
And that's something that was stuck with me. It's a bit,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very scientific,
Mhm.
but it's something that always stuck with me. Your dog knows what you're feeling before you do.
That's amazing. Now, what the experts are saying, and these are tests that have been done, like that, it's an area where they're digging into more and more research. But it's the scent. What are dogs famous for, right? That
Mhm.
scent.
Yeah.
For a human, it says a human has about 5 million scent glands. Can you believe a dog has about 300 million
Scent gland.
Yeah.
scent
Yeah.
glands, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, a dog's sense of smell is about 100,000 times better,
Yep.
more sensitive than humans,
And
right?
that's why
They-
dogs are used
And
to
that's
sniff
why
out
they're
drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
like
the
that.
drugs at
or
the
even or
airport.
truffles. Some of them are like even truffle, like you know what I mean, like the like they,
The
you can use them.
treats.
Yeah. But and there's one thing I always tell people, especially new dog owners, is
Mhm.
I mean, however you want to touch your dog, always be very careful on the top of the nose, anywhere on the
Okay.
top, because it is very, very sensitive.
Mhm.
It's one, if you want, with the top of the nose, because it is so sensitive, you always treat that area very gently. And if you
Mhm.
want to give your dog sort of a rough pat or a scratch, go
Under
from
the belly.
underneath the jaw or
Okay.
underneath the jaw. But
Okay.
always treat that area of
The
like
nose.
The nose.
the nose almost
Yeah.
like you would treat your eyeballs. They're because they have so
Okay.
much in there for sensitivity. That area is a very sensitive area. And some people,
Right.
like some people who are not familiar with dogs, will sometimes like grab a dog sometimes by the nose, not knowing just how sensitive it is. Yeah.
Yes. What they say is that some diseases, the
Yep.
reason dogs have been able to do it is that the diseases have certain scents that are associated with that disease.
Okay.
So example, due to the changes that occur within the body with the different organs, it expresses different chemical compounds.
So you,
And that is what they train the dogs to recognize.
so you're giving off an odor that is
Yes.
highly sensitive to the dog's ability to pick up that
Right.
scent.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, there's an organization, what's it called? Dogs for Diabetes, Dogs for Diabetics.
Right.
And this organization actually trains the dog to spot whether the glucose level, is it too
Right.
high?
Yeah.
Is it too low?
You're
Yeah.
kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
go
well,
ahead.
because I would assume that your body chemistry would change
Yeah.
slightly with your high and low blood sugar, and why we can't smell it. It's something a dog could probably pick up on right away.
Mhm. I remember back in the slave days, or even, I guess, when did they use dogs now to catch crooks? I don't know,
Yeah,
all the
well,
movies.
that's been going on for.
That's
yeah.
they use those dogs. It's whenever you see the dogs, you know, oh my God, game over.
It's
Yeah.
time to run, man. Time to
Except
hide.
with water. I always wonder if that's true. Do you know if there's any facts to that? As long as they're in water, then they lose the sense of smell. Is that true?
I don't know. That's
I don't know that either.
No,
I don't know
no.
how true that is.
Oh
Yeah.
dear. But the thing is, with these dogs that they use in medicine, right? They actually, the dog has to be a certain type of dog, right? And it
Right.
has, they have to go through this whole training process. And I'm going to ask you to take a guess. What do you think are the best dogs for these jobs? You said it earlier.
Oh, for scenting. Damn. Honestly,
You said you called a name earlier, one you owned.
like with the Boston Terrier.
The golden retriever.
The golden
Oh, the golden
retriever.
retriever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking retriever, like retriever,
Yeah.
the golden retriever, the Chesapeake Bay retriever.
Okay,
Yeah, those.
the Labrador.
Yeah.
Apparently, their disposition, they're really friendly and gentle, and
Yeah.
they really over care about their humans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
No,
you
we-
have a? Sorry, go ahead. Frederick.
We're focusing on the dogs, but
And the health.
and I'm losing my train of thought. We're focusing on dogs because dogs have played a strategic and very important role in the life of humans way back from antiquity,
Yes.
all the way back from the Egyptians when you know the Egyptians, they use in their mythology, they have this deity Anubis, which has the head of a jackal.
Yes.
But it also represents the dogs, and Anubis was the god of the dead, right? And so dogs have always played a very important role
In
by doing
humans.
certain things. They use them for finding cadavers. They use them for finding criminals. They use them for drugs. They use them for sniffing out, you name it.
Marijuana at the airport.
They use them for companions on the battlefield, like the ancient Romans. Like a lot of the Mastiff style breeds that we have today, the English Mastiff, the Bull Mastiff, dogs, like a lot of that lineage comes from animals that were trained to be companions to soldiers in the Roman army.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But I also wanted to, if we can just, verge off from
Mhm.
dogs for a minute.
But
The other pets that
Yeah.
are,
the hamsters, the
Yeah.
gerbils, the rodents, the snake, the reptiles, whatever.
What about the birds?
The birds.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. What is the most common bird as a pet? Which one do you sell the most of?
Well, you know what? We actually, because of the pandemic, we stopped selling birds.
Oh, really?
And the
Before?
reason for that was we always had to have full-time help to look after the bird room, and it just wasn't feasible. But from experience, there's a few different types of bird owners. There's the collectors who like to collect small birds that are not companion animals, but it's almost like in a sense kind of like fish. So you'd have like the beautiful finches and canaries, which you could have in large community cages, right? It's more of a like kind of a collecting hobby. But then there's the companion birds, which is going to be your lovebirds and your cockatiel and your budgie, where you might have just one bird. But the budgie is the most common house pet bird. And then with cockatiels and lovebirds kind of being second. When you get into your more larger parrots, which I mean, we have a couple parrots at the store that we own that are just
I know,
residents, right?
And they talk. I know. I like the one that talks.
Yeah.
And guess what the research says? If you were to check on the internet, it says the parakeet is the most popular.
So a budgie and parakeet is the same.
The same? Okay.
Same thing, right?
All
the budgerigar or the parakeet.
Okay. And then
they're technically classified as parrots.
Okay.
Right. So like budgies, cockatiels are all essentially small. The parrot family is a very large family of animals, even though we mostly, when we hear parrot, we usually think of the pirate bird, or the big, beautiful, macaw or the talking bird, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. The parakeet, parakeet's sort of also a broad general term, but we mostly call them like the budgie or the budgerigar, or the right. But they're very, very sweet birds.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. Kayla, on the show we get a lot of emails, and so we haven't checked yet to see who have sent in the emails. I see there are quite a few waiting. But during the week we also get emails. And Frederick, do you want to read this one from Cameron?
I can see two from here.
Okay, let me
just put it up for a minute.
I always miss the page.
Okay, while you're looking for that, let me once again just remind our listeners that they're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show on Reality Radio 101. This show is also streamed on Facebook, which will be put up immediately after the show because we were having some technical difficulties. But today you can catch us on Facebook at Liquid Green Products Inc. You can also listen to, as you are right now, on Reality Radio 101. You can also catch all of our past shows on Spotify if you have a subscription, or you don't have to have a subscription on Spotify. Just type in Liquid Green Health Show and you could get all of our past shows there as well. So you have the email.
So here's one from Ray, who sent this in 2 days ago. Hi, Fred and Janet. Thank you very much for the information that you supply to us each and every week. I have learned a lot from you, and I continue to spread the news about your radio show. A lot of my family, friends, and associates at work are now listening to you each and every week when they can. It is a very interesting radio show, to say the least. Thank you again for the knowledge and the funny dialogue. Oh, great. See, we love that. A lot of those. What happened, Kalo, is we had a session, we had a comedian on, Quincy.
Oh, no
and
way.
We were talking about jokes and laughter. And honestly, we were inundated with jokes that we had to keep reading, Do you have any good dog jokes?
Oh.
I'm putting you on the spot, but that's just rhetorical. Okay, let's just take a couple more. Why am I not open? There. Okay, starting from here. Harry says, hey to Liquid Green, loyal listener. Any worm?
Our worms therapy pets. Just kidding. Love the show today.
Okay, worms. Nobody keeps worms as pets, do they?
Okay. No,
It's
but
just food.
but
Mhm.
mostly we use a lot of worms as feeder. So we sell mealworms, superworms, hornworms, silkworms, waxworms, butterworms, dew worms, trout worms, earthworms. So we sell a lot of worms
Wow.
but there are actually insects that we've actually sold a lot lately that people are keeping as sort of a hobby pet. Then they're called isopods, which you
What?
might also know as a potato bug or a roly-poly.
Mhm.
They have a lot of different names, but they're actually being bred as sort of like designer bugs,
Mhm.
and they act like a culture of maybe 12 to 15 of these little bugs might sell for as much as $60.
Oh,
There
wow.
are actually
Wow.
some of them that are very rare and special
Mhm.
that a single one could cost like a couple of $100.
Wow.
It's insane. But we've actually we bring some in through our insect suppliers. We actually had to ship some of them to like Newfoundland and British Columbia because so basically what they do, they go into an environment like a terrarium or a
Mhm.
glass enclosure where you're going to have live plants, and maybe you have a reptile in there, and the reptile poops. These isopods, they are your house cleaning crew, and they
Okay.
go in, they eat the poop, they clean up any of the waste, and they
Okay.
keep that live environment flourishing. It's a new thing to me. Like, I'm a dog and cat guy, but this whole phenomenon of the designer potato
Okay.
bugs it's really quite cool. It's really cool because they
Wow.
come in different colors and stripes and
Wow.
patterns, and
I'm-
for some people they're fascinating.
I haven't heard
That's
of that at all.
recycling at its best.
Yeah, right,
It is.
right.
It
The
is.
most
Yeah,
efficient,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not AI. It's not AI, right?
Now here I
Um,
have another email for you. This one is from Alice, and she says, "Hey Fred, losing your concentration? Do
Two
two things
things.
for that. Drink more and get a dog. They can
Yeah.
help you."
We love
Okay.
your show. She's from Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow.
Oh,
Right?
nice.
Yeah. Now, I met a lady. I'm trying to maintain. Kayla, I lost 10 pounds, right?
Yeah.
From a few months ago in Jamaica, and I'm trying to maintain. So now I have religiously, we do walk. At least 4 times a week we walk.
Yeah.
And I met a lady on the path, and because we're doing the show, she had this beautiful dog, and she had 2 dogs. And I said, we're doing a show on Sunday. Would you want to share about, your dog? And this is what she said. She said, you know what? We had to renovate our house. And she said she made sure that the renovations in the kitchen, she had to do certain adjustments. She was able to spend extra money because
Wow.
she had to do what was going to make it more accessible, more comfortable for her 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People go through that. They do the sacrifice.
I have a cat who's 20 or 20. Here, I'll grab him 1 second.
Okay, good.
Okay, while he's doing that,
Mhm.
here's another email from Lance.
Okay,
And it says,
a dog
"Okay,
joke.
Janet, here's a joke. Because of you, there's that's beautiful. What a beautiful kitty
Oh
cat."
my God.
Yeah, this is Sebastian.
Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian. What
He's
kind
good.
of cat is he?
He's completely deaf.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
just an orange long hair.
Okay.
He's about 21 years old,
Wow.
and we make a lot of adjustments in the household to make sure
him.
that
Yeah.
And for those of you who are just listening on the radio,
Mhm.
you need to watch the show on YouTube.
You can see
Right,
Sebastian,
you can see
right?
Sebastian. It's a beautiful pet. All right, let me just finish up this
Mhm.
email. This is from Dave.
Oh, a joke.
Okay, Janet, this is a joke that came in. People are still sending us jokes. Okay, Janet, because of you, what do you call sleeping puppies?
Oh, boy.
Hush puppies.
Hush puppies. Kayla, I'm going to share something else with you and with our audience. I wish I had a picture to show you. I actually asked his mom to send me a picture of Kenute. Fred, you know Kenute.
Yeah.
Kenute is a 5-year-old. He's big for his age, and he's in Jamaica. And you know what his pets are? He comes into the house with these giant 40 legs. It's not scorpions, 40 legs, right?
Yeah.
The creepy crawlies that gross out.
Centipedes.
My
centipede.
Centipede.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, is 40 leg not a real name? I don't know.
No.
Well,
you have the millipedes, and you have centipedes.
millipede and centipede. So
So it's one of them. The centipedes are more dangerous.
So why
in
do we
terms of
call them
stinging.
40 leg, which is neither a milli or a centi? I don't know, but that's
Well, it's because
Jamaica for
probably
you.
maybe 40 on each side. I don't know. But I mean, who's counting those legs anyway?
I don't know.
Has anyone ever counted and
I
said
know.
like this is a true 100 legs?
Yeah, but I swear to God, he has crabs.
Yeah, he
Like
is
when they go
into
to the
nature.
beach,
Those
crabs.
are his toys.
he captures lizards.
Yeah.
And he says he builds a little house for the ants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just going on 5+.
That's-
Amazing.
That's
Can you?
and he goes
Yeah.
around looking for these things.
And he had a turtle.
But so I grew up on Vancouver Island. We did a lot of the same thing. When we went to the beach, we caught crabs. I learned to swim because my grandfather said if you don't take your feet off the bottom of the ocean, the crabs are going to bite you. So that made me kick my feet, and that's how I learned to swim. But in the forest, we would catch centipedes, we would catch garter snakes. So we used to have the old the Folgers coffee cans, the big cans. We would put a bunch of grass and stuff, and we go and we catch garter snakes, and like it was the same age, 5 years old. And at the end of the day, you set them free.
Such a difference, when you're growing up outside of the city, how you are attracted to nature. You get involved with things that are, that are of nature.
Well, it's like you walk out the backyard, and beyond the backyard, and once you start scratching under the surface, you start finding all these fascinating things that are out there, right?
That's what I wonder. What's Kenny gonna do when he gets to, when they migrate to America? But as you say, there's just nature is everywhere. I'm sure he'll find a pet. He'll probably end up getting they have a new puppy, and they have a baby, and the baby is so afraid of the new puppy, And that's one thing, Kayla, with what do you say to parents with pets, especially dogs, and how they should interact with them, especially young
young, because dogs are attracted to young kids.
Yes. It's about setting boundaries, like having boundaries, but not worrying too much as well. So it's the same thing with the way a dog, like dogs specifically, interact with any humans or guests. You have to set boundaries. They have to be calm and know when it's their turn to interact, right? Yeah. So it's like when a human walks into our house, all the human interactions take place first, while the dog has to wait and sit. And that usually gives the dog a chance to calm down. And once we've done all our introductions and we're all comfortable, then the dogs get attention, and it sets a sort of chain of command in a sense, right? And if the dogs get used to that, they know if they wait their turn, they'll get to say hi, they'll get to lick some faces, whatever. Yeah. but they've got to be calm first, and they have to kind of earn it. I had kids with my ex-wife here, actually in the house. My kids were born in the house, and there was always dogs present. So there was I don't know if there was so much of it, like the baby didn't come from nowhere. Like I don't know if they understand what was going on, but all of a sudden there was new humans in our house, and they were fascinated, they were interested, they wanted to be involved, but we set limits, but without creating a big mystery. We didn't hide them from it. We let them observe everything that was happening, and in those dogs, and every dog that's come into my life has been incredibly loyal and excited about my kids. It's so it's about setting boundaries, and like no matter what you do, your dog will, or your companion mammals, they're gonna love your children the same way that you do.
Yes.
But and now very protective as well.
Sure. Right. On the downside, we have heard the stories of animals who attack their owners.
Yeah.
Look at, not just the exotic.
It depends on the
lions,
type,
etc.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most common animal to attack a human is probably a pet dog.
Yeah.
Right. Like more like people don't really get attacked by sharks. They don't really get attacked by tigers. They really get attacked by the animals in their home. Yeah. Right. And it's you can never really know sometimes what the warning signs are, and you just gotta a lot of times have some faith, but you have to set boundaries.
Because they do get stressed as well, right? Like animals get stressed, and we have to learn to recognize those stresses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the animal feels threatened at times.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
We
But
don't we don't even know what the animal thinks at a time. Sometimes it could be jealousy or
For the new baby, right?
yeah, it could be a lot of factors, and you've got to be aware of it. But like because I even like today, like I have a large dog, and she's a pit bull type breed. She's a sweetheart. But when like she hangs out with my daughter, and like and sometimes I'm like, do I have to always keep an eye, and I don't really like,
yes.
but it's always in the back of the mind.
Yeah.
Right, because she's a 90-pound powerful animal.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
if she gets upset,
horse.
she gets upset, she can
do some
she can
damage.
express her feelings
Yeah.
in a way that could end up in an injury. But she's also so excited and loyal to my daughter. It's just one of those things where anything can happen, but we're hoping that with the good training and her good disposition and the right amount of exercise and discipline, that it will never be an issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again,
Now, there is also with when it comes to people's health, one of the things that we have to be so cognizant of, and it's cats and the dander. And they say for pregnant women, it can be really quite unsafe for them to change the litter box, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I also know, I used to be a home inspector, and every time I went into a home where there are cats, I would know
allergies.
the allergy. I would start to sneeze, my eyes would itch, and then I came to understand that the urine, the ammonia in the urine stays in the air much longer than a dog.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why that was my reaction to.
Yeah. So unfortunately, some people would love to have pets. That's when they have to get the fish, because then at least I don't think anybody can be allergic to fish, right?
Right.
Well, not fish
you'd be surprised.
Really?
But,
fish
it's more if you touch the fish and then you touch your mouth, you get an anaphylactic reaction. So some people are actually But yeah, I mean, over the years I've developed really bad allergies, and I'm guessing it's partly environmental, but partly because of my cats. But I mean, my cat, I've had the one cat for 21 years. I'm not going to make a change there, but I might not get another cat when he goes, right?
Yeah.
But I've actually developed over the years worse and worse allergies. It's mainly a sinus issue. But yeah, that's one of the things that comes along.
Yeah, my brother has a dog, or had a dog, and the relationship with this dog, it was like his buddy. My brother he lives in Vancouver, and he would go home, and this dog would run off at least 2 times a month. And sometimes the neighbors weren't that kind. They would see him going, but instead of calling my brother, they would call the pet people. And every time he had to pay like $200 to get him back. So that's a very costly dog. But he died recently, and oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Brenton
don't think it was a family member. It was his sister that
for
passed
at
away.
least a week. He was so devastated, right?
I have a question for Kalo. I mean, you've been around pets for a while.
Yeah.
Of all the animals out there, right? That whoever it is that created these beautiful animals, which one of them would you consider to be the smartest of all?
The smartest of all animals.
Yeah.
That's a set of questions.
Are we talking pets or animals in general?
Pets.
Pets.
Animals in general. Yeah, I would say animals in general.
I don't know the smartest, but I know. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff with dogs doing very complicated memory games. I even just saw one today. You know the little game where somebody mixes up a bunch of things, and you've got to they flip them over, and then you've got to guess them and match them. I saw a golden retriever do that today. Wow. I've seen some pretty incredible tasks, like problem solving by octopus.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that doesn't have any kind of you can't train is a crab. They say you can't train a crab.
Yeah, I've seen mice trained to play basketball, like
and dolphins.
And like don't even get me started. Like like some of the dolphins and whales do amazing things. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Frederick,
They-
that was a setup question because he thinks dogs, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
none of them, Kilo, are as smart as a dog. Wise,
Yeah.
rather. Wise as a dog. Why? Because dogs have supermarkets. They have psychologists. They have their own.
Yeah.
They have their own doctors that they can be taken to.
Yeah.
And they live
Yeah.
in homes, right?
Yes.
They've removed themselves from the bush and they've
Yeah.
managed to come into
Yeah.
the home. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah,
those,
yeah.
all
That-
those
that-
things that those
They
animals
did that
can
on
do.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
They learned. They saw a fire and they
Yeah.
knew there was food close by. They thought, if I stay by
Precisely.
this fire and keep some of the other animals away, somebody might give me some food. And I won't have to hunt tonight.
They're
Precisely.
up the food chain for sure.
Yeah.
Kayla, I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw a couple of quick
We have
fun,
just a few minutes
quick
left.
fun
Sure.
questions at you. Do you think most owners spend more time with their pets or watch TV?
Why can't you do both?
But do you think one or the other,
Which gets most attention?
the TV or the pets?
Oh, I'd say the TV.
You're
Only
absolutely
because
right.
we live in a day and age when people marathon can watch 7 hours of the same television program on their day off.
Yes,
Um,
binge.
but they might do that with their dog. That might be something they do with their dog. So it's
Right. Oh, there you go. And
speaking of
when
dogs.
it comes to your store and people come in, what are some
Yeah.
of the questions you get most often? Like, they're asking your help. What
A
are some
lot
of the
of it-
things they need most?
A lot of diet allergy related stuff.
Okay.
So my dog's licking, my dog's itching,
Mhm.
or sometimes behavioral stuff. My cat's
Mhm.
not using the litter box. I don't know why.
Okay,
Usually
right.
that, you can usually sort those things out to big changes in the home. right?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I mostly with the dog and cat side of stuff, but I know that the reptile guys get a lot of
Yeah.
questions. My snake hasn't eaten for 6 weeks. Is that
Wow.
which it is okay because sometimes they can go months without eating. It's just a thing they do.
Do you know that the biggest amount of money from the budget, what does that go to, say, for a dog, for a family with a dog?
Yeah.
What's
It
the
should-
biggest budget?
It should go to the nutrition.
It
it should-
should, right?
Obviously, go to the nutrition because if you think about a bag of dog food that you can get at the grocery store for $30
Mhm.
and feed your dog for a month, you have to ask yourself, what possible nutrition could feed my dog for a month?
Mhm.
we say is, well, how much does it cost to feed like a 14-year-old boy for a month, right? Like, who's growing, developing, it's probably
Yes,
gonna be over $100 a month for proper food. So you should have it in your mind that your dog is another family member and they have to be eating the same quality as every other family member, right? It's got to be real in order for them to have a good life. And that it's
Mhm.
it upfront cost, but that's going to save you money in the long run with that.
Now,
Okay,
on nutrition, let me just
Mhm.
ask this quickly.
okay.
Which is better for the dog, raw food or the
Depends.
packaged dry food that is
It's always going to be the raw food.
Yeah.
And the foods that are come in a bag and are dry they're made to be convenient for the human. And in
Okay.
order to get in that state, it's got to be subjected to a lot of heat,
Mhm.
which destroy a lot of the nutrients.
Yeah.
It also has to have binders, which are usually a filler, which just sort of fit together. Whereas
Okay.
raw food is it's essentially like if you were the way they make them. Imagine like if you're trying to eat healthy and what you want is a salad with your
Yeah.
protein
Mhm.
and a little bit of vitamin and a little bit of fiber, but fresh and unprocessed. It's
Yeah.
the same. Raw food is basically
Okay.
Yeah.
Like-
Yep.
historically
Yeah.
commercial pet food is less than 200 years old. It's like
Okay.
less than 50 years old, but
Mhm.
dogs ever. And they've
Yeah.
all
You
that
know-
they've never eaten anything that's been
That was
cooked.
breaking up. Mhm.
Now.
Yeah. Kalo,
Sorry.
we have 5 minutes left. This is always, we run out of time because, you know, our guests are so wonderful and so interested. We haven't got to half the emails, but at the beginning of the show, before you came on, Gary, our producer, asked, he says, Janet, I'm afraid we know you don't have a pet. Correction, Gary, we do own a fish, as we mentioned, right? One fish. And
Do you
they
take
said,
that
how
fish out for a walk?
no, we take him on the
Oh.
balcony, we take him on the deck,
I'll put him in
so
the
he
sun
can get some sun
he
and
gets
we
some
bring him back
sunlight.
in if the air gets too cold, right?
Yeah.
So we do care for our pet.
from an air-conditioned room to
But-
the warmth.
Kalo, what I wanted to say is how he asked, so how do we know Kalo, who is a pet owner? And I said, that's because Kalo was
Oh,
the
yes.
very
yes,
first person
yes.
who gave Liquid Green Products an opportunity
No
to
way.
have our products in
Oh,
your
wow.
store.
Yes.
You were the first person, Kayla, and I remember
yes.
Wow.
you took our pet shampoo and you said, you know what? I'm gonna bathe with this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Oh, I did
you
too.
did, you did, right?
Yeah.
And then you said, with the pet shampoo, you're gonna buy it because I know in your store you do the pet. One of the services you offer is that they can come and shampoo their pets. And
Yeah.
I know you have used our pet shampoo.
Yeah.
So I'm giving Liquid Green
So,
and you a big
Yeah.
up, right?
Yes.
Fred-
and he has been a loyal supporter.
Yes.
Honestly, to this
Oh,
day,
yeah.
it's the thing we trust
Mhm.
to wash down all of our counters, tables, and bird cages
Oh,
like in-
really? Yeah. Mhm.
homes. It's the only
Yeah.
thing that we know 100% is
Mhm.
safe for everyone in the whole house.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And
See?
one of the things that they did was to use the multi-purpose cleaner
Mhm.
to
For the birds.
for the birds,
To,
to
as we
spray to
just
the
said, to
air.
clean the cages,
Oh,
etc.
oh, oh,
Now
okay.
I'm going to talk really fast and get through a couple of emails. Tommy says, hi, Liquid Green, dogs are amazing, so trainable, so smart. The Coxes should get 1 or 2 or 6. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Tommy, it costs about $3,700 per year to look after a cat. It costs about $3,400 for a dog, and the average Canadian spends about $800. So Kayla, don't ever give up your pet store, okay?
No.
And here's another one from Cameron. They want to know if our guest has a website. So Kayla, we're going to give you an opportunity
Oh
to
yes,
tell them,
please.
tell our audience how they can reach you and what's your website.
www.menageriePetShop.com.
That's www.menageripetshop.com, and he's
Yes.
located at 549. For those of you who live in Toronto, 549 Parliament Street in the
And
heart of
Cameron
Cabbagetown.
also said previously, this was 3 days ago, he said, always a very informative and funny radio show. My family and I love listening to you. There are 3 of us. Thanks for the tips and tricks. And I know there are at least 6, almost 8 emails we did not get through.
Yeah, here's one from Janice. She says, hi, pets are cute except for pugs, and they are ugly.
Oh my God. And here's a joke. This one I have to fit in real fast. Francis says, why did the snowman call his dog Frost? And he says, because frost bites. Frost bites.
Okay, folks.
Yeah.
Kalo, it has been a
Janice.
pleasure. Really,
All right.
really glad to have you on the air.
My niece's favorite animal joke.
What's that?
I've got my niece's favorite animal joke.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Knock, knock,
Who's there?
interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow.
Moo!
Ah! Great way to
Right.
end it. Great, great,
So
great
with
way
that,
to end
Kalo,
it.
once again, we want to thank you for taking the time out to
Yeah.
be with us. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to be working with you
Yeah.
as usual. All
And
right? Have a wonderful day.
We could spend the next hour
Yeah, we could
talking
spend
about people love their pets, so and they
Okay.
help to keep us healthy. So let's stay.
Right. So with that, I'm going to say let's end today's broadcast
Mhm.
with this. Life is short, so take your health seriously. Make it priority 1 in your life. And until next Sunday, same time, same station. This is Janet and Fred Cox saying, let's stay healthy on Reality Radio 101.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for listening to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts, Fred and Janet Cox, right here on Reality Radio 101.